For 7 years, I thought I was living a fairy tale. My wife, Sophia, was the kind of woman who commanded attention without even trying. Confident, beautiful, and so ambitious. We built a home together, we shared dreams, and we even talked about starting a family. It felt perfect. But behind all those smiles and shared moments, she was hiding a devastating secret. It started subtly. Late night calls she'd take in another room, messages she'd quickly hide if I walked by, and business trips that just didn't add up on her calendar. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I needed to trust her. I didn't want to be that asterisk partner, but one evening, my world came crashing down. I was cleaning up when her phone lit up on the counter. The message was from Alyssa. It read, "I can't wait to wear your ring. She'll never know." My heart just stopped. My hands were trembling, but I had to know more. I scrolled up. What I saw shattered me into a million pieces. There were messages planning a wedding asterisk, their asterisk wedding. There were pictures of them in Paris, looking like the happy couple I thought we asterisk were. And then the words that turned my blood to ice, getting rid of the problem. The problem that was me. That night, when Sophia came home, I couldn't pretend anymore. I confronted her, my voice shaking. She didn't flinch. There were no tears, no apologies. She just looked at me with this cold, distant smile and said softly, "You shouldn't go through my phone, Clara. You might not like what you find." Her tone wasn't angry. It was dangerous. It was a warning. From that day on, my life turned into a nightmare. My car tires were slashed. I started getting strange calls in the middle of the night. Just dead silence on the other end. One evening, driving home from work, a black SUV started tailing me. My heart was pounding in my chest. I took random turns, trying to lose it, but it stayed right behind me until I pulled into a crowded, well-lit parking lot. When I told Sophia about it, she just laughed. "You're being so dramatic," she said, but I saw the flicker in her eyes. She knew. She wasn't surprised at all. I started sleeping with my phone under my pillow, jumping at every little sound. I couldn't trust anyone, least of all the woman I shared my bed with. A week later, my gut told me to do something drastic. While she was out, I went to her office. I logged into her computer, my hands shaking so badly I could barely type. And there it was, all the proof I needed. Flight tickets to France, bank transfers to a secret private account, and a marriage licensed application under her name and Alyssa's. She wasn't just cheating on me, she was building an entirely new life, and she was making sure I wouldn't be around to complicate it. I printed everything, my mind racing. I left her office and walked out into the cold air, feeling like a ghost. That night, as I was debating what to do, there was a loud knock on my front door. I peeked through the blinds and saw 2 imposing men in black coats. My instincts screamed at me to run. I didn't even grab my shoes. I slipped out the back door and hid behind my neighbor's shed, trembling uncontrollably as I watched them break the lock and force their way inside. They weren't burglars. They were looking for me. In that terrifying moment, I finally understood. Sophia wanted me gone. Permanently. I packed a small bag with whatever I could grab, took the emergency cash I had hidden, and just drove. I drove through the night with no destination, just the burning need to get away. I stayed in cheap motels, paid in cash, changed my phone number, and completely disappeared from the life I once knew. 2 months later, I was in a small diner in a town where no one knew my name. I glanced up at the TV in the corner, and I saw her face. The headline read, "Local businesswoman arrested in fraud and attempted murder plot." Apparently, someone from her own company had grown a conscience and turned her in. I expected to feel a rush of relief or maybe even happiness, but I felt nothing. Just a profound sense of emptiness, and then, slowly, the feeling of freedom, but healing wasn't a straight line. The nightmares haunted me for months. I couldn't trust anyone. Every new person I met felt like a potential threat. That's when I found a local women's support group, and I met Emma. She was a counselor there, and she was everything. Sophia wasn't gentle, patient, and kind. She never pushed me to talk. She just sat with me in the silence, creating a safe space for me to just be. One evening, after I'd been quiet for a long time, she looked at me and said something that changed everything. "You survived because you still believed your life was worth saving. That's love too, Clara, loving yourself enough to live." Her words hit me like a tidal wave. She was right. A year later, Sophia was sentenced to prison. I never went to visit her. I didn't need closure from her because I'd already found it within myself. I rebuilt my life piece by piece from the ashes she had left behind, and somehow, after all that darkness, I found light again. Not in getting revenge, but in forgiveness, and in the quiet, steady love that Emma showed me every single day. Because sometimes just surviving, just choosing to live, is the greatest act of love there is. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something that made you feel lost, please know you are not alone and that there is hope for a brighter day. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content. Take care of yourselves.